A quick half-an-hour practice session has transformed my golf game, both with my irons and of course, my driver. Hi everyone, my name is James Robinson and welcome back to this YouTube channel. So I've been practicing recently to try and get my swing path from out to in, more in to out, to change my little bit of a kind of slicey fade, a big slice, to a little bit of a draw. So I've actually been using Hack Motion to help me here today. We're going to talk about exactly what I've been doing inside in the studio with my irons and of course out here with driver, where let's face it, we all want to hit longer, straighter drives. Let's kick things off inside. Let's talk about what I've been doing with my irons. We've also discussed this on our Get Good at Golf channel, so if you want to check that out, make sure you do. It is linked in the description below together with the Hack Motion device. There's actually a Cyber Monday sale on these as well for Black Friday and Cyber Monday, so make sure you check it out. Let's jump inside and speak irons. So I've been working on my swing path a little bit, and you may notice that I've started playing a little bit better. I've started hitting the ball, oh yeah, just a little bit straighter throughout the bag. And how I'm doing that, it's quite a simple method actually. So I've been working on my wrist movements using Hack Motion and obviously the app with that. We've updated the app so we have a little bit more to play with. And what I was doing, I was going up to the top and coming across the golf ball like that. So you'll see here that my club path was 5.4 degrees to the left, but unfortunately that means we're going to be cutting across it quite heavily. So more so with the less lofted irons and of course with driver and fairway woods, that wasn't working. I was even getting like 9, 10, 11 degrees across it with my driver. So I've started to work through the bag, and I'm going to kick things off with the mid irons because that's where it's easier to start to work on how to improve. And you'll see that the strike there wasn't that bad, but it's only gone 103 yards. Now, I'm not the biggest, longest hitter, but 103 yards for an 8-iron isn't my bag. So how can we get you doing this as well? Because so many people come across the golf ball a little bit too much. Yes, of course, with an 8-iron, you do want to kind of cut across it a little bit. You probably want to hit down on it, which in effect makes the path go left. It's not really cutting across it. It's just having a nice neutral exit to the arc of the swing. But what I've started to do is think, right, if I can use Hack Motion to make sure that I keep that club face nice and square on the way back, I make sure it's set nicely when the butt of the club's pointing down at the ball, and from here I load it to the top. So I know, you can see on screen now, I've actually got a little bit of cupping in that wrist. So from there, I'm starting to think, right, if I was to come down and keep that cupped, it's going to put the club a little bit outside playing, the face is going to be a little bit open, and that explains heavily that shot there where I cut across it a little bit. And again, it felt like a great strike. That one's a better example actually, 9 degrees across it. So it went a little bit straighter as a pull because the face angle was 8 degrees left, so the face angle and the club path were kind of married together, so it looked like it could be a good strike. But oh, what did? Siri's gone. Stranger released it. I don't know what's happened there, Chris, but we'll carry on. Has Siri ever interrupted you? I didn't even, did I say it? Apologies if I've set yours off at home, guys, but back to the point where if I can now start to think, right, I'm going to build this up slowly and surely. Once again, I'm using the Hack Motion, I'm making sure the wrist angles are right, and you can see the feedback on screen for even just take it back and allow it to work through. So that obviously wasn't a full shot. That's carried 80 yards, and you can see that we've actually got a club path of 0. So we've neutralized that swing path perfectly. And if I can do that properly, and Chris is helping me here with, basically, guys, it's nice to have this and it's nice to have the feedback. It's also nice to have friends that can tell you when you're doing it right. So if you do want to take it to the driving range and start doing that, I start to then work it a little bit further. And you can see again, that ball's now almost starting to draw on me. That's carried 120 yards. Again, it was only a little pitch. Club path, 4.2 to the right, face angle a little bit to the left. So that's what's kind of created that draw for me. And you can see that with very little effort, I'm starting to build up the distance, so that's 125 yards. So now, even if I go to a half shot and I go, right, I know I want to be here, I know that's where I want my wrists, and then mimic it on the way down, you can see what's happening with the wrists on that screen there. And that's just a really small half swing, and that's carried the bunker. It's carried 140 yards, releasing to 150. Lovely square club path and lovely, I'm going to call that a square club face because it's only open by 0.5 degree. And what's 0.5 degree to friends, Chris? We don't know. So if I want to start playing more of a draw, obviously alignment comes into that, but all I want to do is really get myself to a point where I am a lot more neutral with that path and face, because as long as I'm striking it well with a neutral path and face, where's the ball going to go? Oh yeah, straight. If the ball goes straight and I'm aiming where I want to, I also know that it's going to help me. So if I do the same thing now, and really start to allow that to work through. That was more of a full swing, to be honest. That was a 90% swing. That's now carried 156. It's released 162. And again, we've got that club path at 2 degrees to the right with the club face a little bit closed. That's why the ball's gone ever so slightly left. So if we're starting to nitpick here, in an ideal world, I would want that swing path maybe 2 to the right with the club face 1 degree open rather than being 3 degrees closed. That would give me the perfect draw. But all of a sudden, I'm starting to see now on screen these lovely rainbow ball flights that are starting either on target or right of target and coming back to the target or just left of target. And the great thing about this is you can see that I haven't hit many balls in this video, but the productivity has been fantastic. It's been through the roof. And that is the key to getting better at golf. I don't want you to come and do a Gary Martin, can I have 300 balls, please? And then 5 minutes later, can I have another 200 balls and a pizza, please? And then 5 minutes later, another 100, pizza, beer. Because the more balls you hit, you could be doing yourself more damage and ingraining it into, well, more flaws in your golf game. That's where something where you can be productive can come in massively. And even just these shots, this is where I've got better, quicker, in essence, to be able to, right, can I keep playing those shots? Because I know the club path is square, the club face was slightly open, and that's indeed what I'm trying to do. Being able to do that at half speed is, I think, even more impressive than being able to do it at full speed, because actually, what am I learning to do here, Chris, with this 8-iron?
Control the club face.
Exactly, I'm controlling the club face, I'm controlling the dynamic loft, and actually, you think next time you have a shot that's 105 yards square, I know, tell me about it. We're speaking about Gary, weren't we? If I have a shot that's 100, we are friends, by the way, so if I have a shot that's 100 yards and it's really windy and blustery, this is kind of a shot where you can need more practice on that one, that wasn't the best, but you can really start to engage yourself, you can really start to work on, you can see that the first time I become unproductive is when I'm trying to just play your shots, but you can really, that wasn't too bad, was it? You can all of a sudden have a shot in your locker where you're like, you know what, when I have that distance, I know I can hit that distance. I know I can hit a shot that's boring through the wind. And I know that if I can use this in my game, I can control all those factors, dynamic loft, face angle, and of course distance. And that for me is really helping me hit my best golf in 2024. Club path 1.5 to the right. Mission successful, 165-yard 8-iron. Irons is all good and well, but we want to talk big dog. So if I want to change my swing path from out to into out with my driver, I want to do very similar things. So I want to first of all make sure that my alignment is correct. So I don't want to stand with my left foot back. I don't want my shoulders open here, and I don't want to be bringing the club too far out here. I want to actually make sure that the wrist movements I'm making together with my hack motion device go in line with what I'm trying to do. So I'm going to actually stand a little bit square, if not closed. I move the right foot back a little bit here, so you'll see that my club path wants to move out to the right-hand side of that fairway. And a way that I can do that is, if I take the club back to the top here, you'll see that on the free practice mode, you can see my wrist is cupping a little bit at the top of that backswing. Now, as I start to move down, sequencing is vitally important here. So I make sure that I start the downswing with that lower body. Whilst I'm doing that, I know that using my hack motion, I can allow my wrist just to bow a little bit on the way back, on the way down, and that's going to allow the club to get more under plane. From here, I can release the club to the ball, and you'll see that that actually gets the club working more this way. So in to out, that's what's helping me hit straighter and longer drives. The spin rate's down, the ball's launching nicely, and if I were to put this in practice, you'll see that sternum stays back and they're the exact shots I'm trying to play. That ball starts out to the right, it draws in nicely. You'll see that it's a much higher ball flight as well, not that shot that starts low left and just fades back. And the key to making sure you can do this right is, of course, repetition. So let's see if we can do that again, because Rory McIlroy famously once said, don't practice till you get it right, practice until you can't get it wrong. So I'm not sure we're quite there yet, but once again, making sure that that wrist feels like it's kind of opening a little bit here, and to the top of the backswing I feel like it's cupping, and then at the top I make sure I'm bowing it on the way down whilst that sequencing is working well for me. Can we hit that same shot again? Start it at the bunker and let that just come in. Exactly the same shot there. That actually stayed a little bit straight, but I don't mind because it's starting on the line I want to. If it draws in, lovely. If it doesn't, it's not that horrible low fadey slice. Guys, if you've enjoyed that, smash that subscribe button. Make sure you check out HackMotion in the description.